hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, I hope we'll make with this sound system. I hope you can hear me. It's, what can I say? It's amazing to see all you guys here. Welcome to you all. I'm going to make a short introduction, and then I'm going to hand over to Mervyn Smith, who's chairman of the president of the African Jewish Congress. African Jewish Congress. I'm going to say a few words to you, and then I'm going to give you a little bit of a talk around things that are close to my heart, and I hope close to your heart. And there's just going to be 2 short speeches, so that's all. It's really great to see you guys here, and I'd like to call on Mervyn to come up. Thank you.
It's a great privilege to be here today. I mean, it is a privilege. It's a great privilege to be here today, and especially to see some very well-known faces, some famous Zimbos, as I've heard to say. People who came through the community in Zimbabwe, Stanley Harris, Ralph Harris, former leaders of the Zimbabwe Jewish community, and others who contributed to the well-being of the community. Some 2 years ago in Ranana, Lee Boyski, who is here as well, and she's the vice chair of the African Jewish Congress, and I, and Blue, ZJC, and others attended a gather of Zimbos who lived in Israel, and it was equally nostalgic. I suspect that what you're seeing on the wall is what you're shown on that particular day, and soon you're all at occasion to shed a tear or say, that's me. But what I want to talk to you about is Zimbabwe today and the Jewish community here today. There are a lot of very poor and impoverished people who are being helped by the African Jewish Congress to obtain money from the ZJC, the Joint Distribution Committee of the United States, the famous institution, who we help. We help with food for Pesach, we help with food and comforts and medicines and education for Rosh Hashanah and other occasions. And I find it to be a great anomaly that you have this poverty amongst the Jewish community that has to be supported by South African and United States Jewry, and we do it with love, and yet there are assets of that Jewish community, both real and corporeal. In other words, there are shuls there, there's money both inside and outside Zimbabwe, and there are the assets of the Zimbabwe expats here in Israel, in Johannesburg, and all around the world diaspora. And I've come to you this morning not to say, crudely put your hands in your pockets, but get connected, get involved with Zimbabwe Jewry today, even if you don't have any family. I might tell you that last Rosh Hashanah, we handed out 75,000 rand, 1,000 rand to 75 different individuals who simply needed it to get across, to get past Rosh Hashanah. This is a great community, a great Zionist community, a great Jewish community. And I know that your hearts are there, even if only on a nostalgic basis. But there are still Jews living there, and they need your help. If you need to connect with us, please do so through the famous traveling Rabbi Moshe Silverhut of the African Jewish Congress. You can contact me, and just look it up on the web. So, good luck, welcome to Cape Town, and welcome to our Israeli visitors to Cape Town, and have a wonderful, wonderful reunion. Thank you very much.
Okay, thanks Mervyn, and I'd like to make special welcome to my colleague Sid Shapiro, who's the director of the South African Zionist Federation in Israel, known as Telfed. Now, I have the honor of being the current chairman of Telfed and have been involved in this amazing organization for 15 years. We help new immigrants who come from Southern Africa to Israel and to settle in Israel, and of course amongst them we have in our books something like 600, 700, around about between 600 and 700 ex-Zimbabweans living in Israel. If you ever make Aliyah, if you ever think of making Aliyah, Telfed will be there for you. There are a couple of magazines around on the tables, and I hope you'll be interested in reading about it. I'd like to make a special welcome also to Mervyn and to Lee Boydskin from the African Jewish Congress. Together with the traveling Rabbi Moshe Silverhardt, they do an amazing job in supporting numbers of small communities around Africa, including the Zimbabwe Jewish community, as Mervyn just said. They do amazing work, and I urge you to support them. And I want to thank them for their excellent work. I want to bring special warm greetings from your friends and fellow countrymen in Israel, former members of the Zimbabwe Jewish community living in Israel. I've been asked to send greetings from Mervyn and Joyce Lasovsky, Marvin Hatchwell, Nick and Nelly Aladev, and many others who send warm regards. You may be interested, there's a laptop in that side of the hall with pictures scrolling there from the last reunion we had in Israel, and you'll see many familiar faces running from that Nidaba we had, that reunion we had there. I'd also like to express special thanks to Judy Berman and Leah Mann from the Western Province Zionist Council, who really helped to, I've been from Israel emailing them on a daily basis and calling and making sure that everything's in place, and they've been wonderful. They've really helped. In fact, they were here at 8:30 this morning to help set up, and that's just part of our relationship with the Western Province Zionist Council and Kolakabod, and thank you to both. I'd like to mention a couple of milestones that come to mind, and please forgive me. I know that there are a lot of other events and a lot of other people have had milestones recently. I'm just going to take a few of them and share them with you. Before I carry on, sorry. My little committee here in Cape Town, I'd like to thank Trevor Lobel and Larry Aberman and Lynn Foster, who's come all the way from Durban. Three of the people who made it happen, helped to make this happen. Without it, it really wouldn't have happened. So thank you guys very, very much. So I'm going to start talking about a few milestones. And we've had ups and downs, and we've had bereavements, and we've had all kinds of simchas as well, but I'll mention a few. I'll mention the fact that Ivor Kotzen just celebrated his 90th birthday, and they had a wonderful family reunion as well. All the people coming out from all over the world to celebrate with his 90th birthday. Mazal tov to Ivor. I'm sorry he didn't make it today, but anyway, please convey our mazal tov to him. I want to mention that those of you who know our friend Jonathan Bader is very seriously ill in Toronto, and I would urge you to, if you know him, to reach out, give him a call, send him an email, just say hi, and it would really help his morale. He's in very, very bad condition. It would really cheer him up if you called him. And I would also urge anybody who feels like it to also say a prayer for him. I want to mention that this morning was the unveiling of the tombstone of a great friend of ours, Abe Buchman, a great Zionist and a great gentleman, and a lovely man, just a lovely man. And I'm sorry I couldn't be there this morning. I was here for setting up, but I extend my thoughts to the family. And another important member of our community has passed on. I want to also mention those of you who knew Eli Zagoria, who passed away recently in Australia just a couple of weeks ago. He's a great guy, a great artist, gentle person, and he left a lot of rich art from the work that he did during his life in Zimbabwe. A few months ago, Babs Name passed away. Babs was a real pillar of the community in so many different ways, not just in the Jewish community, but very much in the Jewish community. And she gave so much of her life to community work, and a tremendous example. And she lived to a ripe old age, and she's no longer with us, but we remember her with great fondness and with great respect. So those are just a few milestones I want to mention. Yehi Zichram Baruch. Actually, I'd like to share a secret with you. This event came about for very selfish reasons. I'm here in Cape Town for 5 days, and I thought to myself, how the hell am I going to see everyone? So I thought, well, you know, what the heck, I'll invite them to a get-together. And here you are, and you know, I thought maybe 40, and I told several people, I thought maybe if I get 40 people, I'd be very happy. But you're all here, and it's way beyond my expectations, and I think it just shows how much there is an appetite for people to get together. We were obviously a very special community, and we're all dispersed all over the world. And I'm hoping that this will be maybe the beginning of a tradition. We have a tradition in Israel. The last Indaba we had in Israel was a couple of years ago. There were 250 people there. And as I said, there are pictures running in that side, on the laptop on the side there, and you may see some of your friends who attended that reunion. The one we had 5 years ago, we had a guest of honor of Stanley Fisher, Professor Stanley Fisher, who is the current or outgoing governor of the Bank of Israel. And we call him our fellow landsman, although he was born in northern Rhodesia. He's a Rhodesian and a wonderful guy, and he came to not this last one, the one before we came, and he was our guest of honor. I can also understand how you guys have chosen to live in Cape Town. It's the most beautiful city. Every time I'm here, I'm bowled over by the beauty that you're surrounded by, and I can see that you know, we're dispersed all over the world, but there is a core of the ex-community here in Cape Town. I myself, I can tell you on a personal level, we're 4 siblings in the family. 3 of us married Cape Townians. My wife is Cape Townian, and my wife also, my sister, my younger sister, met her husband here in Cape Town. So Cape Town is very close to our heart. Folks, you know, we live in a world of websites and Facebook and emails and SMSs and whatever, and smartphones and dumb phones, and we're all over the place. And we use these tools to communicate with each other, which is great. But there's just nothing quite like seeing everybody in the flesh and saying hello and catching up, and that personal contact that we have in events like this, it makes a big difference. As I said, I hope this will be the beginning of something. So this is not just a community reunion. I feel this is a family reunion. I'm going to just extend a few words of what Mervyn said about the community in Bulawayo, in Zimbabwe. And you know, they number I believe about 150 souls today, give or take, between Bulawayo and Harare. Really dwindled to very small numbers, and they really battle to keep their minion going and whatever. It's really difficult. I know that there are people here who spend time in Bulawayo and Harare. And perhaps, you know, they know better. Obviously, I've been here for a while. But the sort of stories that Mervyn talked about with people who are struggling, who've lost all their assets from the whole upheaval of the economy there, has been tremendously traumatic for many people. But it is amazing, for example, that the Jewish day schools are running. Although there are hardly any Jewish kids running in the schools, they are the top schools in Zimbabwe. Sorry? There are no Jewish kids. Okay. So there you go. The Jewish day schools, they still have Jewish curriculum. And then amazingly are considered to be the top schools in Zimbabwe. So huge credit to our community for setting up these institutions. Unfortunately, there are no kids and future generations to benefit from them. Who knows what lies ahead for the community in Zimbabwe? It may be a blip on Jewish history that maybe have lasted 120, 130 years. I personally feel that it's important to record the story of the community. And I've been doing that through the Zimbabwe website and a few other things. And I really urge you guys, if you've got stories, if you've got pictures, if you've got videos, if you've got memoirs that you'd like to share with us, I think it's important to record the history of the community for future generations. I'd be honored to add them to the website. If you haven't, please come forward afterwards and let me know. Talking about writing, the ZJC, what I call the ZJC, the Zimbabwe Jewish Community Facebook page, those of you who connect to Facebook, has spawned some interesting and very creative writing. There are 720 people connected to this Facebook page, and every time someone posts an item on the page, those 720 people around the world immediately pick up that information, whatever's been posted. But there's been some really creative writing that's come out of this, and I've been also bowled over by it, including poetry from Richard Schwartz, pieces from Yaron Wiesenbacher. Recently, a week ago, I think Yaron posted a great piece. The most prolific writing has come from a chap who I personally don't know. His name is Stephen Abramovitz, and he lives in the North Island of New Zealand. And he's been writing prolifically about his childhood in Zimbabwe, particularly the angle of being a Jewish kid in the community. And not everybody may like his style of writing. He has a very sort of gritty, kind of quite a, I would say, I call it a gritty language. He has a fantastic sense of humor. He uses a lot of Rhodesian slang that we all knew. And he, as I said, he talks about it from this angle of being a young Jewish kid in Zimbabwe, in Rhodesia. He must have been a wilde chaya. Those of you who know the term, he was a wilde chaya. Okay, you can see it in his writing. He must have been a real wild kid. Because the stories that he talks about are, quite hairy, but anyway, wonderful stuff. And those of you who have or are interested in reading it, he has a blog, and he's written numbers of postings on that blog, which I really urge you to read. I'm going to read you a short piece that he wrote at the end of December this last year, just 2 months ago. And I think it sums it up for many of us, what this is all about, and what we're here to kind of celebrate. And he calls his post Time, Hey. And it's by Stephen Abramovitz. His alias, for those of you who are on Facebook, his alias is Baobab Boomstick. So I'll take it from the start. I just want to set a bit of background here. He talks about June. June is his mother. He talks about Jarvi. Jarvi is Dan Jarwitz. Those of you who may know the name Dan Jarwitz. He talks about his dad, Les Romovitz. So that when those names come up, you'll know the context. So this is now the beginning of his post. Time flies, my boy, was one of June's favorite sayings. Time flies, believe me. One day you'll see, but by then it'll be too late. She would use her famous hollow laugh to really make her point. If it'll be too late, what will I see, Mom? I mean, what's the use of that? Haven't you got homework to do instead of asking these stupid questions, Stephen? Jesus, man, because I've got better things to do than listen to your nonsense. Time flies, take it from me. And don't argue with every bloody thing that I say. Of course, back then, when I was a Wengwi, time didn't fly. It seemed to stand still. Blue sky day after blue sky day, purple jacaranda trees, Bengal juice, and Zoe juice, and swimming pools, the never-ending loop of childhood bliss. The change from 8 to 9-year-old boy to a teenager out, smoking Kingsgate and Dacha, and looking for Guara, just seemed to be a natural progression of things, and not time flying by. Just the other day, I heard a song on the wireless, and man, it was just one of those songs, hey, One that dragged me back to 4 Ridgely Way, Avondale, Salisbury. Watching television before I went out on a Saturday night, waiting for Jarvie to fetch me in Paula's Datsun 120Y. Or Jay to rock up in Cloudy's white Renault 6. It showed often in black and white on the RBC and started with one single symbol, crash, dish, and then a pause, and then another dish, and then a drum, heap between the dishes. Dish, boom, dish, boom, dish, boom, and then an increase in tempo, dish, boom, and then it's a madly infectious bass that burbled and oozed and skipped over the dish, boom, Then there are lyrics. I'm just a wandering on the face of this earth, meeting so many people who are trying to be free. And while I'm traveling, I hear so many words, language barriers broken down, and we found the key. I would get out a wooden Dunlop tennis racket out of the cupboard, where all that sort of katunda was kept. And I would play and sing along at the top of my Kingsgate ruined teenage lungs, that I was just a singer in a rock band, until Les would come into the room and say mildly, because he was a mild man, he is a mild man, that perhaps I should keep the racket down a bit. But before I could answer, there'd be a hoot from the driveway, and I'd be off in the blood-warm Salisbury Saturday night. With moody blues and a moody Rhodesian teenager, man, they went together like salt and vinegar chipsticks and an old ice cream soda. June was right, of course. Time flies, and there's nothing you can do about it. I mean, just check. 2012, nearly over already. 35 years since I left Rhodesia. 30-something years since I was a teenager. 30-something years since I heard the Moody Blues being singers in a rock and roll band. It's been a big year, eh? 2012. But not as big as the year Smithy declared UDI. Or the year we did O-levels. Of course, but a big year all the same. Some of us have lost loved ones. Some of us have gotten ill. Some of us have gotten better. Some of us have just gotten on with life. And for the first time since ages ago, I've been back in touch with people who speak the way I do, feel the way I do about most things, laugh at the stuff that makes me laugh, and miss the things that I miss. That hasn't been a huge part of 2012. Sorry, that hasn't been a huge part of 2012. It's been a huge part of just being me, or being a Wenwu.